Britannia Royal Naval College, where the Duke of Edinburgh began his naval career in 1939. He's arguably the most celebrated alumni of the college, but has a personal connection to many in the armed forces.
My memories of the Duke actually go back to my own passing out parade in April 1992, when he was the guest of honour and taking the salute on behalf of Majesty Queen, who was the then Lord High Admiral. The Duke of Edinburgh was slightly later. It was a hot April day, but as soon as he arrived, there was an air of confidence about the Admiral, the Duke of Edinburgh. And as he arrived onto the parade ground, as he was walking around talking to all the cadets, he was taking his time. I remember when he came to our division of midshipmen, he was asking where we were going next. But he was doing that in the context of he had actually done the journey we're about to go on. So it's a wonderful memory from our passing out parade. And over recent days, wonderful to see those I passed out with sharing similar memories of how personal he was, engaging he was. And really the Duke of Edinburgh, in my view, was a sailor's sailor. He could talk to anybody. And some wonderful leadership qualities which I will take forward as we continue to deliver Royal Naval officers here at Dartmouth.
Prince Philip was named Best Cadet on his course and appointed a midshipman in early 1940. He then served in World War II.
My favourite story of his wartime exploits, he's in HMS Wallis, helping protecting Canadian troops landing on Sicily. And one night his ship comes under fire from German planes and actually sustains some damage. The German fighters then depart, but it's obvious that they're going to be returning, and the fear is that, particularly as the ship is ablaze in places, they will be an easy target for the Germans when they return. So Philip, being terribly quick thinking, gets together a makeshift wooden raft, sets that alight, lets that go adrift. Wallis makes fast pace in the opposite direction. Consequently, when the Germans come back, they see the raft alight, thinking they obviously had a successful hit first time round, so go on attacking the raft whilst Wallis is able to escape. And no doubt, his actions, his quick thinking, saved possibly hundreds of his crewmates' lives as a result. And of course, by the end of the war, just to round it off, he finds himself in Tokyo Bay when the surrender of Japan is being signed. So he had a very full and complete wartime experience.
Princess Elizabeth, as she was then, kept in regular correspondence with Prince Philip during World War II. And of course, it was here in the Captain's Garden at the Naval College they played croquet together when Prince Philip took the then Princess on a tour of the college in 1939.
I mean, he had a lot to do with the college. He returned several times, and one particular sort of occasion, he came for a reunion dinner here when he opened the Britannia Museum in 1999, and there was a church service just before, and this was mentioned that this was the first meeting, and he was heard to say, "Not quite." They'd been present at two occasions before, but I like to think that this is where Princess Elizabeth first noticed him, and perhaps that was the first noticing of Prince Philip to Princess Elizabeth as well.
Dartmouth was just the beginning of a lifelong affiliation with the armed forces for Prince Philip, who was Captain General of the Royal Marines for 64 years and held the title and office of Lord High Admiral. He came back to the Naval College many times.
When Prince Philip came to the college aged 17, he was only here for 8 short months. At the time, the college was effectively a naval boarding school, but because he'd already had a secondary education at Gordonstoun, he came in under a special scheme. But in those 8 months, and he recalls himself in his own memoirs about his vivid recollections of his time on the river in cutters and whalers, and what he would refer to as instruction, discipline and indoctrination that he experienced here. And so I think his experiences at the college very much stayed with him throughout his career as a naval officer, when he did come back and visit on occasion, but also more latterly as the consort to the Queen, when he would have visited many passing out parades, not least for his 2 sons, Charles in 1971 when he joined, and Andrew in 1979. When young men and women join the Royal Navy today and they stand on that parade ground for the first time, they look up and see the insignia engraved in the front of the college the words of Charles II from the mid-17th century, the preamble to the Articles of War. It is on the Navy under the good providence of God that the wealth, prosperity and peace of the nation depend. And I think those words are enduring. They look up to those and see the importance of Britain as a maritime nation and a maritime power. And coupled with that comes the royal connection, and the college truly is royal. When we think that the Queen's father and grandfather and uncle all were trained here, then we see that enduring royal connection to training throughout the decades over the last 150 years.
The white ensign is flying at half-mast at Britannia Royal Naval College and will do so until national mourning ends. Briohny Williams, Forces News, Dartmouth.